Hey, I am Eric. This is God Killer Game Dev Sundays. This is about a game I'm making called The God Killer, which I make a little bit of progress on every day, and today's no exception. Neither were the last 35. I made progress every day for the last 35 days. Um, so this game, I'll show it to you in a bit, but it's a top-down puzzler, and it's written in Unity. I've been making games and different projects over the years, sometimes more active than others, and it's time to make another game. This is the latest thing that I've made, and I'm pretty excited about it. So this session, I'm going to show some cool stuff I've been up to. You might be catching this as a recording in the archive, either on Twitch or on YouTube. If you want to catch these live sessions, I run a schedule that's pretty consistent. Monday through Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. ish Pacific Standard Time. I do live coding, and I also do like a little update at the beginning of each stream that isn't coding. It just shows like a quick demo of where I'm at with the game. So if you don't like looking at source code and listening to me talk about writing code, you can also check out the beginning of those sessions if you are more into the game. I'm also pretty friendly as far as chatting with people that drop in. Now Sundays I do something that's not coding. I do it every 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This session here is what I call God Killer Game Dev Sunday. It's going to be some kind of task that is not coding, but it is developing in the game, or it's doing something that adds to the game. So if that's your thing, join me on Sundays. So it could be level design, it could be art. Today, what I've got is some new graphics for the main player-controlled character of the game, who's called M. And I've been working on this over the last few days. I took this new model off of the Unity Asset Store and customized it a little bit, but it's the handiwork of I don't know the name of the person. The studio is called Atavis Studios. They have a number of models that I think are pretty well done. And this is the character. And I'm going to show you what M looks like now. Now that I've figured out, I won't say entirely, but 90% how I want her to look. So let me hit play and do a quick demo of that. With OBS, that's the broadcasting software, the frame rate it takes a big hit right at the beginning. It's basically, OBS is fighting with the CPU. Well, basically the game and OBS together want a lot of CPU. Okay. So I'm gonna. What always happens is I wait a little bit and things calm down with the CPU, and then it starts looking a little bit better. And it's still going pretty slow, pretty chunky. So I added some new trails. The trails are that pinkish red thing that goes behind M when she moves a distance. So if I fling in one direction, there's this very pronounced trail there. Before it was much more subtle. Now these things that are closing in on her they still have stub art. And in this session, I'm going to add in some more representative artwork. Still waiting for that frame rate to just get back to normal. So I've got a walking animation. That was actually the hardest thing to figure out, because each movement from one square to the next is a single step. It should be either left or right step. And most of the animations there for walking and running assume that they're going to be a continuous animation. And it's just, in my game, it's you take one step and you are all the way into the next square. The animation is there to depict that movement, that single step. Oh, now my frame rate's getting a little bit normal. So I have to, without knowing like if the player is going to keep moving forward constantly or not, I have to do something that is sort of hedging my bets as I step into the next square. So I could be hitting the key continuously to keep on stepping. In that case, I want it to look okay like it does now. Or I could just be hitting like a single step and then it has to transition to a standing animation. And there's no gradual movement in this game ever, because the logic of the game is quantized around these squares. So you're always all the way inside of one square. You're never in a state where you're moving to a square, at least not logically underneath the hood. Visually, just to make it clear what's going on, to have like a little bit of slickness, there's a tiny bit of an animation as the character moves into the next square, but logically underneath the hood, that character is simply in that square. There's also sort of, I guess I'd call them like compound actions that happen as a result of the commands that you issue. So each command is, so you might call it a turn. I call it a step, because a turn to me implies like you're going to wait around for the turn to be enacted, and a step is simply you issue your command and the consequences are immediately apparent. So in that case there, I step down, and one of the brawlers, that's these little short guys here with the axes, one of the brawlers pushed me west, and I showed the results of both of those things all at once. So I'll do something like that again. Actually, this will be like three things happening at once. I move east, I'll be pushing these two brawlers all the way off to the east as far as they can go, and this brawler here that's south will then in that same step push me north. So you'll see me do that now, and basically all three things will happen at one time, which is confusing until you internalize what the rules of the world are. And I've also got, reasonably good animation on the main character now, but the brawlers have got the old stub art, and they've got the old lack of animation and the old trails. So my hope is in this session that I'll be able to get the brawlers hooked up to a similar type of model as M has, and similar animations, better trails, so you can see more clearly what they're up to. Okay, so I've got some different animations here. I'll finish demoing them. So there's the stepping animations, which I've been over. There's flinging, and they're so brief, like you barely can see how they're distinct, and they have to be brief, but they are distinct. Then there's the punching animation, and there's like a left and right punch variation. So if I punch this way, it punched right, and then return to the standing position. I go up again. Let's see, will this be a left or a right punch? That's still a right punch. Right punch, left punch, right punch. And these brawlers, they are disintegrating, but there's no animation for that yet. So you'll just see them disappear from the screen. And then they're off respawning in this egg thing over here. Let's see, the other animation that I added in, well, a few more. There's a landing one if I fall. Very brief. It's just basically a little bit of recovery from falling. And then there is the ascension animation. So when this thing is it's the exit to the level. I call it an ascension point. When I step in the middle of this vertical shaft of light, I will float upward. And it goes to another level, but I don't want to be on that level, so I'll exit out of there. Alright, and then there's a whole state machine that controls these animations. So we've got all the animations I talked about are here, and basically there's some code that will send the current animation off to each one of these things. And I can preview them. So that's M floating around. Let's show some of the other ones. Punch. That's punching. Pushed, when you get pushed. Standing, which is just an idle animation basically. But it's fairly subtle. I don't like the idle animations where it looks like the character is just heaving and super ready, and I don't know, it's basically it's not right for this type of game. Anyways, so that's all those. Oh, here's the step animation. So they're just extremely short. They have to be. Okay, so I could take those same animations and apply them to a different model. And well, let me take a look at the brawler here. Alright. So okay. And this is definitely stub art, and I'm happy to replace it. Not that, no shade on the person that made the original art and released it for free. That was very nice of them. It's just not matching the style of my particular game. So Henry and drag Henry into the world, customize him a bit, and basically we'll end up with a more human looking enemy. So start by moving Henry roughly into the same position as the old art. Actually, I'm going to start by using the restroom. I don't know why I didn't do that before I started. Anyways, I'll be right back. Seriously, just like 30 seconds. No, maybe a minute and 30 seconds. Alright, I'm all back. Oh, I feel much more relaxed now. It's amazing when it does. Urinating. I really recommend urinating if you're ever feeling unreasonably tense. Okay. So then I just got to do a little thing here where the old offset goes away. And offset is just a thing I name these child elements of the game object. Alright, so that looks about right. And whenever I see something like really close to an even value, just set it to that more even value. But the Z on the other hand is not that close. Actually, let me see what it looks like if I go to the 0.5. Does that look right? Does that look close to right? It's not bad. I am like thinking when I look at him, he's extending quite far out, but when his actual animation plays, it may be a different story. So there is like an animation controller already attached to him. That's the one that was provided by the author of this third-party package. I'm just going to look at it real quick. So a basic kind of idle walk exit thing. That's fine. I know it's not the controller that I want. So, quite simply, am I going to remove it? You know what I could do is I can go to the player. Okay, I can see how this one's set up. Okay, so I'll just try to set them up in the same way. So the controller, I'm going to change to M controller. Culling means that all the animation state logic will not be performed if this game object is off screen. That's what I want. So then when I look at the new brawler, I should be able to play through some of these existing animations. Okay, there's some kind of offset weirdness that I'll have to fix. That's okay. The animation though is playing correctly. Now these guys never get to use the exit, but it is kind of cool to see that animation I designed for another character also working with this one without having to change anything. Okay. So I'm going to set, okay, stand. Set that there. I'm going to fix the offset here. Oh, that's why. That root motion. Okay, so that means that, okay, there's a thing in the animation where it changes the overall offset for this mesh here. And if I just remove the root motion, it should fix it. Okay, so that also means now that I've removed that, I have to correct for Y, the Y axis. So let's just fix that part. So this is the point of having an offset game object. I want this container object to always be on even coordinates that express where it is in terms of these squares here. One thing that's a little bit off, I should be able to fix it in the stand animation, but this foot over here is not resting on the ground. But I may need to use like a separate animation to do that. Because if I change the animation for this guy, and it's shared by M, then anything I do to change the animation for this dude is also going to update M's animation, so I don't want to mess her up. Well, I guess while I'm here, might be fun to customize this guy before I get going too much. Oh. Okay, this one's different than M. So yeah, so M had all kinds of things I could customize. this fellow's, he's kind of straightforward. He's just a dude in all black with a hood and a backpack. That's okay. He's kind of basic. I don't mind. I don't mind. Alright, let's go back and check out the different animations. That one looks fine. Let's take a left step. That one's pretty important. That one seems okay too. What about punching? Punching seems alright. Alright, I'm inclined to just run it and test them out. But let me I'm just gonna update the prefab, which is kind of a scary thing for me, because this other creature that I've been using for so long to represent this character, I'm just going to overwrite that with this new one. But it's not that risky now I think about it, because I've got all of this tracked in Git, so I can go back. So let me just overwrite the brawler with this new version. So that should make all the other brawlers use the new, yeah, there they are. We got this new look to them now. So I am kind of excited to see what it looks like when I play it and demo it. They look more menacing than that little impish stub art I had before. Basically working. It's a strange thing to see them all walk in unison. Oh, also it looks like all of them are sharing like the same animation state. I didn't expect that. Is that true? Huh. No, that's not that didn't happen. It's just that they all go in unison, and I did not expect for them to look as they do. With that all animated in unison look, it's kind of strange. Not sure what to think about it yet. Okay, that guy punched me. I like that. On the to-do list is putting trails on these guys. The shader should be updated as well. I can fix the shader in a second. Yeah, he punched me. I like it. Ah, it looks like actual combat for once. Okay. He's too large, though. I think I should shrink him down a little bit. See, but now I'm starting to get a little more information about what's happening as the player. Because I can see those brawler's actions. When I go west, I'll see him punching. And it will make it a lot more clear what's happening. So that's good. And then I just knocked two of them back, and you could see that happen. Somebody texted me. I'm expecting a visitor, but that wasn't him. His positioning inside the square is a little bit not to my liking as well. I think he should be more centered. I might also say that about M. Because I want it to be clear which square he's in at all times. So I didn't like how they looked at first, and now it's growing on me. That whole walking in unison thing. Let's see, what am I noticing here? They don't have an idle animation. Okay, I need to start keeping track of the things that I know I want to fix. Okay, to do. What else? No idle animation? Okay. Cell shading. Okay. I'll keep playing with them a little bit more. I like the shadows on these guys. It's a nice consolation for losing what I would consider the more cinematic view of a character by doing this top down. I mean, we never in real life see people in the top down view, so it's very abstract to show that. But the shadow brings back that suggestion of what the thing is in a more accessible way. Go up the stairs. Does it look okay? That's a nice thing about the top-down view too, is I didn't have to do anything special for all the steps. All the different animations you could do on the steps, they basically look okay because of the top-down view. I didn't have to tilt anything up. If you're looking at I've got a guest here right now. I'm going to let him in, and I'll be right back in a couple minutes. Seriously, I'll be right back. If you're watching this on recording, just scan past this purple screen. All right, back to it. So yeah, let me make some changes then. Start out with the cell shading. Henry. I am pretty happy that all that animation work I did previously just transferred over to this new humanoid character and basically worked, minus a few little things. So let's see. So I just change out this shader for another one. Let's play with it a little bit, get it to look like something better. So So it looked a little too, before it was looking like it was just all dark and had no variation in the color to it. So I was playing there with the shader to get it to look like something a little more interesting. Just what I did with M originally. I don't want to add in sketching to it, so forget that part. It's not specular, we're supposed to be a light color. Yeah, okay. I like that better. Cool. So then let's also make them smaller. This is not a powerful enemy in the game, so it doesn't serve me well to make this particular guy large. I am thinking about contacting the company that made these models and asking for some variations. Okay, so let's see if I go 0. Interesting. .05. Just trying to get him pretty close to the ground, not underneath of it. Okay, that should do it. The other thing is, if I look at player, I know there's an extra script here. I think if I add that, I'll get my idle animations working again. Cool. So update the brawler again by overriding the prefab. Prefab's kind of like a template that's reused for all the instances of that same template. So let's just see what that looks like. Oh, I swear the frame rate is much better when I don't have OBS going. I'm not just making excuses, it actually is pretty friggin' smooth. I don't know if that specular highlight thing I did was a good move. So they've got that bright white thing to them now. But that seems like a bit too much. So this is the thing I'm seeing with the steps that bugs me. It's such a large step. Like there's no... I can make it smaller, but then if I did make it smaller, if I made the step smaller, then it wouldn't look right when I was continuously pressing the button to continue going in that direction. And the way that the input is written, I don't have the information that the player is going to continue in that direction until they actually issue the command to go. And that's not something that I can change without compromising something core about how the game is supposed to work. So the step animation is really kind of like a bet hedging between the player moving just one square like this or basically sprinting like this. Okay. So things I know I want to fix with these guys. I'm happy with their new size. The cell shading, the specular highlight that I added is too pronounced. So I want to calm that down. And then I have like the other things that I wanted to fix. They're still on my list. But it's getting there. All right. So let's fix these other problems. Starting with that specular highlight, which is on my mind. See, it looks okay here, but if I take the same guy and I move him out into the light, oops, I need to get the snap on. Then it's so pronounced. It just looks kind of like a bright white thing that doesn't really give you a good sense of the character. It looks like he's made out of metal or something like that. So let's fix that. I could do it some different ways. I could just keep the highlight, but just make it not bright white. That seems like not a bad way to go. I think I'll just do that. And okay, the other thing was, in a standing position, he seems oriented correctly as far as being in the center of the square, but if I go to one of his animations, then he's not quite far enough forward. Oh, it looks like his offset's wrong for this too. Is his offset wrong for stepping? No. For whatever reason, with the stand, I've got him below the ground. So let me check a few things, because I could fix this offset pretty easily, but I don't want to mess up M as well. So here the question is, I go and look at M with her standing animation. Is she also below the ground? She is not. She's actually slightly above. So I might as well fix this part of her animation where her leg is like up above the ground. That's not hard to do. That fix would apply to the other guy too. So I might as well do that first. Okay, so it's her right leg. No, it's her left leg. My right, her left. Left leg. Let me see what this one does. Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty close. Might as well fix the feet. Because they're not really flat on the ground. Okay, left foot up, down. Okay, that one's good. Oh, it's a little bit off, but I can fix that. Just have her just on the balls of her feet there, which is kind of a cool thing. Although you don't really see that when it's that far away, when it's in the normal view. But I don't know. Sometimes little details do come through in unexpected ways. Okay, so then the right foot. Okay, now she's on the balls of her feet. If I go deal with this other dude, the brawler, his animation will also have been updated. Of question is, where does that leave him? Still underneath the ground. That's okay. I kind of expected that. And then if I look at, this is the thing that weirds me out a little bit. If I go to left step, is it also underground? Maybe it is, actually. Maybe it's just generally, yeah, he's underground here too. Okay, that's good. That's actually really good, because that means that instead of having to make a custom animation for the brawler, I can just correct the Y offset just to get him where he needs to be. That looks pretty good. All right, let me check out some of the other animations, see if they're in a better state too. See, not bad, not bad, not bad. Okay. Fling. Fling is fine. Land. Okay. Land is a little bit off. So that leaves me a little bit of a problem. So I fixed the stand animation to touch the ground, but I'm getting out of sync with, so there's basically, there's animations I made and there's animations that this other company made. Land is one that a different company made, and all of their animations are set with the ground at a certain spot, and I introduced some of my animations with the ground at a different spot. So I'm left with a choice of either changing their animations or changing mine, so that the ground is the same. And I think it's going to be much more sense. It's going to make much more sense for me to change my animations than theirs, because they made a whole bunch of them, and they've got all these keys here. So these keys here, they're all individual positions and adjustments to the animation as it plays through the different frames. So you see along the left here, these are all the different things that are controlled, and these are very detailed animations. Compared to mine, these are very detailed. I don't know if they were generated from motion capture, but the work I would have to fix all of those to be at a different floor height might be kind of large. And actually, I could fix it pretty easily. There's something called a root T, meaning the position I could take the Y and I could shrink it down, but every time I want to use another one of their animations, I would have to make that same adjustment. And if I look at the Y, I see that they've keyed it all the way along too. So that means that I wouldn't be able to adjust one key at the beginning. I'd have to go in and for all those frames make a similar adjustment, and not just like this one might be a fairly easy one to do. Actually, I don't think it would be. I take it back. So anyways, it's pretty clear. I should fix my animations so that the floor is in the same spot as the third-party company's animations are. So let me fix the Y offset so that it's compatible with third-party package, which is called, if anyone's interested, it's called RPG Character Animation Pack. I recommend it. It's got a bunch of animations that cover a wide variety of things, and they're pretty easy to work with. Okay, so fix the offset so that it works with the third-party pack. Could it be just 0? No. One thing is that I scaled this so that I made them smaller, so I have to expect that the Y offset will no longer be 0. About 0.7, 6, 5, 4. Okay, 0.05. Do that. No, he's still floating over the ground a little bit. 4. That must be close. 3. Nope. Still. Just trying to get him so he's not floating above the ground. Not dipping underneath it too. So there he is dipping under a little bit. Let's go back up to 4. Let's split the difference. 3, 5. Okay. So if that is where the ground is, if I'm going to agree that's where the ground is, I need to look at my other animations, the ones I made, and fix them so that they agree with these other animations as far as where the ground is supposed to be. So start with stand. I don't have too many of these. And here, since I don't have a whole bunch of keyframes, I can just take the Y. Except it's really janky. 0. 0.5. 1.5. 1. 0.1. 0.05. Okay. See, he's floating a little bit, but that's all fixable. Just it's so weird when I change this. The root values, it does some stuff I don't quite understand. I had it at 1.05 and it just, for whatever reason, changed the number to something else. So 7, 5. See, and then I put it back to the exact same value it was at, and yeah, I don't know why it's so odd. All the other ones they're pretty normal. They are pretty predictable, but the root motion, for whatever reason, it's just kind of glitchy. Alright. See what I'm talking about? All I did is, oh man. Okay, as soon as I get it good, I don't want to touch it after that. 1.04. Call that what it's going to be. That's close enough. Click away. See, it changed the value to something else, 0.94. But if I edit it, I have to use, anyways, it's just weird. It's a little glitchy. So that should fix stand. It did for the brawler, I think. Do I have any others? Ascend, I think maybe is going to do something else. Yeah, so let's fix Ascend in the same way. Basically, the ones that I made, I want them to be compatible with the ones that this other company made. Yeah, okay. So, Ascend. What do you look like? Let's preview it, see what it does. Okay, you're still kind of floating. You got the feet going under the ground. But this particular animation has the overall character's position going up. So as soon as he gets up just a little bit into the animation, this little toe dipping thing where it goes beneath the surface will be fine, because he'll be rising up into the air. So I'm not going to worry about that. Fling. Is Fling in good shape? Fling is fine. That's one of the original animations. Is land in good shape? It's so hard to get that just perfect. But you know what? I'm not going to stress about it, because it's like so detailed. Like that level of this left step is not looking good though. And the left step isn't pretty important. Okay. So if I'm here, okay. Let's just fix. I only have a few keyframes here. I can fix these. One. And 1.95. Yeah, this is not going to be hard. No, 0.95. Yeah, there we go. And this is just the stand again. So 1.04 is what I had before. Cool. It occurs to me I also have this have a stand transition, a transition to stand on a number of these. I want to make sure that one is fixed too. So 1.04 left step. Okay, yeah, that one's fine. Punch left. 1.04 pushed. 1.04. Just making the ground a consistent thing. Okay. So now I feel like I'm going to be in better shape with this. Let me do a little bit of testing, because I made a bunch of changes there. just looking at this guy who's on the steps, it does feel like I could at some point add one extra animation so that his other leg is down further. It basically looks fine though. Cool. Alright, so this is where you get to see more details. When one of the enemies is up high on this ledge, then he's much closer to your viewpoint. So little things like if his foot is going through the floor matter more there. I'm really starting to like how this guy looks. Oh, there's a little bug in the trail. Sometimes it does that black trail instead of a pink one. And they do look like they're running when I press the button repeatedly, which is nice. Okay, this is illustrating a thing I don't like. So I didn't have to worry about it as much with M because the camera is always looking down on her, so she stays within her square much more easily. Now these guys, when they get off center camera, their tall bodies make them extend further out, and it's a little bit harder to see what square they're in. So I think it's worth making them not as tall. I was already going to move them forward a little bit because they're back in the square too much. So is M. Yeah. Okay. So if I do the offset, say I go 0.7, made them quite a bit smaller there, and then I can say for X 6. No, that's the wrong one. It's Z, not X. Wrong way. There we go. So I'll see what that looks like. Well, he still looks back quite a bit. Eric 2. Eric CH. Yeah, with the K. With the K. I keep telling people. Other Erics have got the C in their name. Just do it right. Get yourself a K. Alright, it's a good decision to make them shorter. Well, yeah, I mean, you just get an extra letter. It's redundant with the other one. What's the point of that? So Eric, what I'm doing is kind of fine-tuning the appearance of these guys with the hoods on. And there's various goals to meet. One of them is making it really clear from a gameplay perspective which square they're occupying. And I've been fiddling around a little bit with their positioning in the square to center it. So what I'll do is I'll make it so that I can fiddle with it while the game is playing, and that way I'll get it adjusted without having to play and restart each time. So if I go this guy, my set is offset. Three. Let's try that. Then go back to the game. He just didn't move forward in the square at all. Maybe he did a little bit. I don't know. Now I'm just going to make a stupid change just to make sure that I can actually get him to move. Huh. Yeah. Alright, I thought I could adjust it while it was playing. Doesn't seem like I can. So let me make the stupid change that I was talking about. Let's see. 6, no. 0.1. Okay, let's do that. I just want to make sure that the change that I make is actually reflected, because it kind of seems like I just asked it to make a change and it ignored it. So I did something that's clearly wrong just so I can make sure that I'm actually changing something. It looks like I'm not, because oh, I know why. I know why. Alright, so let's go back. I forgot to update the prefab, that's all. Okay, put that guy back there. I'm going to take the brawler, overwrite the prefab, and that will change not just this guy, but all of them. So I play again. So weird. He should be like moving further out. Okay, make the stupid change again. Override the brawler. Play. Oh. Oh. He went the opposite direction, is what I expected. So instead of moving forward in the square, he went backwards. Okay. I'm starting to probably understand what's going on. So let's change this to... No. Okay, try that. Oh, I forgot to update the brawler. Well, I'll just go down and look at the one down here, which is the one that I changed. Yeah, I think it's wrong for a reason that has to do with the rotation. So depending on which way he's rotated, he gets moved. Okay. I don't know. Let's just put him back how he was. Especially when I'm like talking about like replacing this model, do I want to fine tune that at such a high level? Okay, let's also add in the trail emitter stuff. So I can copy this. Okay. So I want my main player character to be the only thing that's red. Let us create a new material that's for the other, the brawlers. So we'll call this Brawler Trail. And I want to be blue trails, white trails. White trails might be like less distracting. Let me try that. I'm not going to give him the trails on the fist though. I'm going to let M have that by herself because it looks cool. I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay. So let's see what it looks like when those guys have got these crazy trails. Ah, something's off. For whatever reason, I've got an extra trail happening. Could be something about like pooled trails. Okay, I forgot to do a number of things. First, gotta change the trail material. Okay. Next, update the prefab. Update the prefab. Always gotta do that. Most of the time, I gotta do that. Okay. So now I should just be able to take this guy and just move him around a little bit and see. Well, no. Oh, maybe R Trails doesn't do that. All right. Please don't have M's trail be messed up. Oh, it's messed up. It's messed up. Something about those other characters also having a trail, but I'm not seeing a trail in them. Maybe it's the shared section. I think there's probably some small bug in Aura, which, not to say anything bad about Aura, it's been doing great for me. It's really been nice. Okay, let's take the trail section out. Just looking over things, seeing if there's something really obvious I did wrong. Worst case, I can just undo what I just did. I think I'm going to try it one more time with that section taken off and see if that was it. And if not, I'll just remove that Aura Trail script and add a new one in from scratch. Okay, at least something buggy going on. Okay. Let's get it back to the baseline. Remove the R script component. Okay. I just want to see it working like it was before. I forget. I always forget to update the prefab. Stop. Okay. Thankfully, I don't see that glitchy thing anymore. So, no problem. I'm back at the baseline, and I'm just paranoid enough that I'm going to do a git commit. So I made a number of improvements, and before I add in the trails thing, I just kind of want to save my current known good state. That's what I use Git for. I don't actually commit out to a public repository. It's just a local repository that I've got. Alright, so now add in Aura, which I'm a big fan of. Add in material, Brawler Trail, And let's set it to be something reasonable. I'm not going to copy in all the other settings I did from the other one because that might just recreate the problem again. But I do want it to at least look like something to start. So let's see, player. Emit initial thickness 2, okay. I'm doing half a second on that, huh? Okay. Thickness over time. So I found what seems to work good for this is kind of like a start pretty thick, get a little bit thicker, and then taper off. Yeah. All right. So that has served me well. I'll try to use that again. Update the brawler. Update the prefab, which is a way of making the same changes to all the other instances of the prefab that are in the level. Okay, let's see if I've got something that's not a bug. That would be a key thing right there. Oh, look at that. So I update, I add, what am I seeing here? What am I seeing here? I don't get it. So there's no trail on the brawler, even though it's got the trail emitter. Even though I created this trail script from scratch, and it does like glitch the trail of the first character a little bit, which is not something I like. I mean, worst case, I could put the Unity native trail renderer on this and leave the Aura renderer just for M. That would probably give me a pretty reasonable solution. The native trail renderer is going to be a little more subtle in the way that I have to use it. I'm guessing that there's some kind of bug with the pooling that Aura uses. Like maybe it's expecting it seems like the different objects that are using trails are sharing some data, which might be a design of the pool, which was actually a thing that I liked about this, is that the developer actually went to some pains to create a pool and manage memory in a way where you aren't creating new memory off the heap. On different frame updates. But I'm guessing that pool. I don't know. That's wild speculation. But it does look like there's some kind of shared memory between the different instances that's causing an issue. I'm gonna try one other thing before I just like give up on using Aura here. Well, and I can also contact a developer who, by all accounts, is pretty good at supporting the product. But I'm gonna try one other thing. This trail emitter I copied over. Maybe that's causing an issue. So if I delete that trail emitter, or here, actually, let's just remove the component from there. Actually, let's copy the component and remove it. Then create empty. So I'm going to try to set something brand new up that doesn't share anything with the old. And yeah, I'll just leave all the defaults in. All the defaults, I won't try to adjust them. This one, I'll even disable it. And I'll see what happens with that. Chunky frame updates. It's because of, okay, so far at least I don't see. Okay, this is good. I mean, it looks terrible, but everybody's got their own trail. If I just start from a point where that's working, I can one by one make changes and narrow down the problem to what is messing it up. So that is a working state, ugly but working. I did not recreate that error. So the next thing will be, let me try pasting the values onto trail emitter 2. So this means I'll have like the same values for the Aura trail script that we're screwing up, that were in the previous problematic version, but it'll be on a new game object. So it will tell me if it's something about these values here, or if it is something about the game object. Just trying to narrow down the problem. Am I in a good state now or a bad state? Okay, I'm not seeing the artifacts here. Oh, I forgot to update the brawlers. Dang it. Forgot to update the prefab. I'm taking such a CPU hit. I need to get like a separate computer that runs the video processing. Although I don't even know if that's a good idea. Maybe a video card that is like a dedicated encoder. Alright, so then back to here. Take the brawler, update the prefab. feel like I'm going to look like an idiot pretty soon because it looks like Aura had nothing to do with the problem that I was seeing. It looks like, okay, there's a trail. That's good. It had something more to do with that game object that I had. Okay. Cool. Now I'm in the period of just making adjustments. The bug has gone away. Okay, cool. So oh, look at that. Look at that. See this XY? Now I even understand what the problem was. I really am an idiot. So I had copied over this trail emitter from a different object, and it didn't create like a new game object with an offset relative to the new container. It just made a copy of this object but with offsets from the old container, which is the player. So it's got these really large offsets, and what I was seeing was, this makes complete sense now. I was seeing a trail that was being generated by this other brawler, but it was offset over to the location of my player. So I definitely owe Aura an apology. Its pooling system had nothing to do with the errors that I was seeing. It was not sharing data in some way that was causing an error. It was entirely me getting confused about the offsets. Okay, so what offset should it have? I can look at trail emitter. It's 0.9, 0.07. Okay. Just copy that. Take it over here. Okay, and delete this one. So it's a nice thing when not only did I resolve the problem, but the reasons for the problem occurring are very clear to me, and that means, you know, my understanding enlarges, and the world is not a random and chaotic place. I don't know if this trail emitter is actually in the right place. I may just need to position this emitter by hand instead of trying to copy over values. Okay, so if I just move this guy around, yep, I get, okay, that's much better. Okay, so let's just move the emitter over to where I want it to be. Okay. So the other thing I noticed is that it's just really, really opaque. And I suspect I just need to bring it down a little bit. Now I could use a different material. Yeah, I could. I could use like the particle material. But I don't know. Let's just see what this looks like first. So the point of the trails, there's two things. First, it looks cool. Second, it gives information about where things came from. It becomes fairly important because I forgot to update the prefab again. Because things move very quickly, they move instantly, more or less, into the square. So being able to see where they've been without that lingering trail is fairly important. Make sure I got the right one. Yeah, okay. I think if I've got this close, any more tweaking I do on it, I'll end up doing while the Unity is playing. And I can just make a bunch of small tweaks at one time. I just want to get it close though before I do that. Okay. The bad thing is that now M has got no, M's fine. I thought M was showing the wrong color trail. Yeah, that white is it's just so opaque though. I'm not understanding why it's that opaque. It's just way, way too opaque. I set the transparency way down and it's got the right option for rendering transparently. So I kind of don't know what that's about. I do like seeing the extra information about where these guys have been though. It's helpful. It doesn't look pretty yet. It might be good that it's opaque right now, because it's also giving me a little more information about what it's doing. Like I can see that the offset is still off slightly. It's up a little bit high on the y-axis. I think I want to have its y-axis be just like right below its backpack. It is cool to see like these guys all get pushed back all at one time. Okay, so let me just try different material. I'm curious what the particle material looks like. And I think I've established that trail section it wasn't the cause of the problem. Okay, Brawler Trail, let's try these guys. And remember to update the prefab. I keep on having to like walk over to see them, so I might as well just take them and move them closer to where I'm starting. Yeah, no, not all that. That's fun. That looks better, actually. It gives them a more subtle trail than M, which is probably a good choice because, you know, M is the player character, and I want her to seem extra powerful, so her giant trail is helpful for that. And for those guys, it's more informational. It's not supposed to be dramatic in comparison to M. You know, they should seem a little bit weaker because they are weaker. Okay. Alright, I think this is coming up on a pretty good stopping point here. I think I'll end up doing a little more tweaking with their trails, but it's close to what I want, you know? It's pretty close. All right. So, for anyone who watched this, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. And I think the next time I'll be on is Monday, following my regular schedule. So if you want to catch a live session, come on in at Monday around 6. Sometimes I start a little sooner or later on Monday through Thursday, live coding sessions. On Sundays, I'm more regular. I start pretty much 3 p.m. PST on the dot every week. I've been pretty regular with that. But yeah, come join me, chat, hang out. If you got questions about programming, life, whatever, the game, whatever, happy to talk. So thanks. I'm going to end the stream now, and maybe I'll see you later.